guess what?
Yeah,
we are live. Good morning, everybody. Superstars, good morning. Good morning, Miss Charmaine.
Good morning, Karen.
I'm not taking away from yours. You're also a superstar.
Oh, thanks.
Well, welcome to our the Reconnection project series 25. Can you believe we've been doing this for 25 weeks, Charmaine? That's actually a half a year, 6 months we've been doing this.
The 25th series on the 25th.
Oh my God. Isn't it funny how things just come out? We didn't even think about that. All right.
Oh, big changes.
Is that like balance? Balance is the key to life. Look at the yin and yang picture in my background. I'm trying to keep that. How amazing is that? The dance of life, dark with light. So that's what we wanted to cover off today. We don't want to remove darkness completely. And people, I think, have that sense of feeling that they shouldn't feel a certain way or act a certain way, or
we should eradicate all
this darkness.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's more darkness right now. We need more light to this. So, but we can't have light without dark. We can't. It's the up and down, in and out.
Hot and cold.
Yeah, hot and cold. You could sit here and just talk about the different scenarios. Can't have yin without yang. And this picture depicts it perfectly, because neither can survive without the other. Look at Charmaine and I. Another epiphany we had today is that Charmaine was sitting with a lighter background with a black shirt, and I was sitting with a darker background with a white shirt.
We're perfectly balanced, you and me.
We are.
Together, we're perfectly balanced.
I think Jeff's starting to wonder about that.
Yin and yang.
Where do I fit in the picture, girls? So darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. That was Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, wow.
Said that out of the words of Martin Luther King. Amazing man. So this is the balance we're talking about, want to talk about today with you. So I'm not sure how many out there are with us right now, but hello, because we can't see you because we're in the dark.
But we know you're watching eventually.
But we know what you're watching, yes. So we talk about the dance of life, the yin and yang. So welcome and thanks for those out there that are joining us now. If you're joining us later, please let us know if it's a replay. I think they do #replay, however that works. So I'm Karen Howe. For those that don't know me, I'm passionate. I love inspiring, and I want to inspire as many globally. So my messages that I'm bringing each week is just to give a inspiration. So we're not here to change lives. I mean, gosh, if anything you can take away from this that could help you, that's fantastic. But for me, I'm all about human design, human potential, that up leveling and constantly looking at where you're at and where you could be and feeling more alive. So less disabled, more enabled. So I'm about change and not be fearful of that change, to embrace that change. So I wrote a book, Reclaim Your Life. I'm just going to plug that there and put it out there. And I did that, and I continue on that path because I'm committed now. I'm committed to this. I was seeking
that rose, aren't you? You're tending that rose.
I'm tending my rose. I was seeking that balance. I refer to it for me as the harmonization to my head and heart, because you can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
What about you, Charmaine?
Yeah, I'm the same. Well, I'm all about balance. The same. Always for tending the rose, which is your rate of self-evolution, but the brain-heart coherence, that's huge. And I'm all about the balance, as we talk about. That fighting a war to eradicate anything is not the answer. That Martin Luther King and Gandhi, they all knew. They're so calm, because without the darkness, you won't see our heroes. You won't see our dreamers. You won't have our light workers saying, this is my time to shine, if there's no darkness to rise up against and no light to rise up against the darkness. And that's the dance of life that we're talking about. So, so balance is key to everything. It's with the work I do as well. One can't exist without the other. It's like the tuning of the conductors of the orchestra. You can't have the high notes without the low notes. That's what makes a perfect song. And you never see an awesome movie without the villain, and you never really get rid of him. You'll always see the good against evil, and he always comes back in part 2 and 3, because if he wasn't there, life ceases to move. There's no momentum. There's no reason for a hero without the villain. So
that's a really good analogy, the villain and the hero. Yeah.
So
no right or wrong, no good or bad.
No, it's just one force against another, creating a life force, which won't be, the villain. If one wins and there is no the other, then there's no more challenges, which means we don't grow, we don't evolve. Another good example, how we need the dark right now is a good example that we need more light workers, like just to keep the momentum going.
Yes. That's right now actually where we are, is it's a bit of too dark a place. So this is where we've got this imbalance.
That's where we're calling for the light workers to, as Martin Luther King said, to shine a light on the hate and the anger. You can't the frequency, you can't fight that frequency with more hate and anger. You need to shine a light on it. And it only takes one little candle to light up a whole room of darkness. So
it does.
That's what creates the balance.
It's very exciting, that whole concept. And you get closer and closer, you think, oh, this all makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It really does. And I guess if I use some analogies, because this is something, I sit with, and you ever notice that things are going really well for you, and then you get drawn into, what you would say is my false sense of security, and you have a day that's going really well, or part of a day, and then things turn to crap, and you go, oh, it always happens to me. Like, just when I thought things were going well, then somebody pulls the rug out from under me, and all this kind of language, And I find myself, as soon as I get lost in that drama, my days just stay like that. They don't change. They might just improve slightly, and I'll have a little win. But when I actually don't get caught up in that, and I put it to the test, it's what you do when you're starting to work through this. You think, I'll just try this over here, and I'll just try that over there. And, I'm so involved with the disability community, or with people that, just are needing help in areas around this human potential. When I sit and listen, I just lend an ear. I find that whole darkness does a 360.
Yeah.
It's like quite incredible. Things open up. And, I saw this more and more and more now being part of Fun Farm. And, we want to create more light now. This is a perfect time more than ever to be part of a bigger community, whatever that looks like. Volunteer your time, give back some of your time. You might say, I don't have time for that. What are you getting caught up in? Because it's bullshit. It really is bullshit. I can't stress that enough. People say, I don't have time to take a meal break. I don't have time to volunteer. I don't have time for my kids. I don't have time. It's not true. You have time. You just reprioritize what's important. And I think more people are doing it now because they're forced to sit still, forced to take time.
Yeah.
And watch this evolve. You take time for you, so you fill your cup up, and then take time. You can give that back.
Yeah.
Your time will expand. It will. You might say, there's only 24 hours in a day. It's surprising what you can fit in 24 hours.
Yeah. And I think last week we touched on, doing the practice of sitting in love, or sitting in the uncomfortable and stuff like that. And what can we do? What part will we play right now with all that's going on? And, are we going to play into the fear, or are we going to fight with love? What are we contributing to and stuff? Where are we putting our focus? Because, where we put our focus, where our focus goes, where intention goes, focus grows, and all that kind of stuff. So,
and it will impact your health. It will impact your work. It'll impact your relationships. If you don't face the things that your darkness is bigger than your light, so you're finding that things are turning to crap more than having a flow in your life, you will be asked to address something, whether it's relationship, your lifestyle, your living environment, your work. It's all one, really. It's all about relationship.
You get that wake up call.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you ignore it, ignoring it will just keep you in that dark place.
Yeah, if you're getting sick, you keep running into obstacles and say, what am I missing? That's your wake-up call, to sit in that and say, what am I missing here?
That's right. And then the same on the other side, if you have too much light, it'll bring you back into balance. So there's going to be, and that's where, you know, I might have my day flowing beautifully, or, you know, some great things have happened, and all of a sudden, bam, because I've been too much in the light, and then it's kind of just brought me, I guess, I don't know whether you'd say down to earth or back to reality, or whatever you want to call it.
That's where the sayings come from. You get above yourself. Don't get above yourself or over yourself and stuff, because that's when you get brought back down to earth and brought down a notch, just to keep that flow going, because it's like breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, your heart pumping in and out. And if you're saying, I'm on this high, why can't I enjoy it? It's kind of like, well, you can't just keep breathing in. You got to breathe out. And that's what we're talking about.
That's a great analogy.
Stay alive.
Girlfriend, you've got some good ones today. That's awesome. And, you know, how often do you hear someone say, be positive? How can you be positive if you're in a dark place? I do get that. But I guess, sorry, what, you going to jump in?
Ultimately, we're saying be positive and stay on that love and above. But naturally positive, though, not a forced positive. Like for me, I'd have a glass of wine, right? I'd get a bit of a kick from that glass of wine, and then, you know, you might have two, and then you come down a little. You have to come down from that feeling, because there's something underneath that's obviously pushing you for that glass of wine. And it's like, okay, there's still that thing that I'm avoiding, because you're always growing, so there's always going to be that sense of, am I supposed to be where is this where I'm supposed to be at? This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not sure, asking questions, doubt, self-doubt. But it's like, stop. And really, it's just, life is about that. Life is that. That is the dance of life. You're going to feel it. I feel angry. I feel sad. And instead of saying, no, I've got to stay positive, say, what is this? Yeah. You know, I'm going to explore this. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling frustrated. What is this about? And not say, oh no, I won't go there. I got to stay positive. You got to go there sometimes.
Or meditate. All I want to do is pillow and, you know, get angry and scream or cry or whatever.
Yeah,
and do that thing, because what'll happen is, I've done it many a times, is if you come out the other side actually feeling naturally more positive, if you want to use that word. It's more, you feel much more aligned, much more cohesive.
You haven't swept it under the rug. You
haven't just ignored it.
You know, you've released it, either physically or emotionally, you know.
And it's okay.
Processed it.
And that alone and crying and getting frustrated, it's only a problem when it becomes a problem. If you stay in the dark for too long, you know, that's something, I guess, you know.
And if you don't cry, I mean, it's necessary. If you haven't cried for ages, well, then maybe that's why. Maybe you need a good cry. Chuck a sad movie on. Maybe that's it. And then afterwards, you're like, oh, it wasn't actually anything. I just needed, you know, it wasn't actually anything deep. I just needed a really good cry, because it's like a release.
And that's mostly what it is. It's just built up for some people, so they can't, it's just discerning, you know, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? You know, this person over here is happy. Why can't I be like them? Or, you know, they start comparing themselves instead of just feeling what they're feeling. Obviously, if you have to deal with it on a different level, then go and do what you need to do and talk to somebody, you know, because it's a perspective, individual perspectives as well. So, you know, we don't sit here and say how it should be. We're just giving our experience, our you know, the knowledge we have and what we've gained through doing some of these actions, and understanding it's okay to feel sad. It's okay.
And don't feel bad for that. And that's our point right now with this whole balance topic that we're doing. We're trying to balance the forces of, you know, if there's good or evil, or there's fear and love. If there's too much fear around, we need to bring the love, we need to bring the light. And so that's our whole point of what we're trying to say here is, if we're feeling angry and frustrated, and then we go, oh no, we've got to keep the light, we've got to keep the love, that's like a great thing. But sometimes we do need to let go of those sandbags. And so I see it like we're trying to, if we don't get angry and say, what am I angry at, and punch that pillow and then let it go and then return to love, I see it like we're climbing we're climbing this wall, crumbling up it, trying to stay positive, trying to stay in the love, but we've got all these sandbags tied around our waist, and it's hard. They're dragging us down, and we're going, no, I've got to stay positive. Whereas if you just, deal with what's making you angry and saying, yeah, I am angry, this frustrates me, but I'm just venting, this, and you let it go.
Yes.
Then that's the cutting of the sandbags. And then, as we know, with a hot balloon, then once you cut the sandbags, you just rise up naturally. You're passing all those people scrambling up the wall.
Yes.
You're just going to rise up naturally.
The balloon, that's nice and light, isn't it? Yeah. So right now, Charmaine, we can shift the balance of the earth to love. It is actually very achievable, because this is all about the dance of life, the frequency. It's physics, frequencies, we're frequency. If we change our mindset, if it's not working for us, our current mindset, we can change it. We can bring more light into our lives, because there's a lot of fear mongering at the moment.
Yeah.
Across all areas, not just one, it's just so many people that are putting fear out there. Yeah. And we know that's what singing and dancing can do. It's the harmonics, the creation of life. Everything's
energy.
Everything. So we could get high with singing and dancing. And I think we talked, actually, this was in our series 3. It's funny how we're touching on topics now, Charmaine, because we've been covering all aspects of life throughout from series 1 that we're touching on through our series. So there's a lot of reference points, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like, we're so on track with this. And it's the singing and dancing. And I think, Charmaine, you pointed something out, that at the moment you could go to football matches and you can scream and yell and all this anger, right? The darkness, but you can't have parties for singing and dancing. They don't encourage it.
You're not allowed to
It's not being encouraged.
No.
So what is it with that? Because we need to bring more light in.
Yeah. So the dark, a lower frequency is anger and yelling, with emotion behind it. Yes. Whereas singing is a love frequency, and that's what will lift us up. So singing and dancing tied in with the feeling of love and compassion is the triangle key of lifting yourself up into love.
Yeah.
So we're told we're not allowed to sing or dance, but that's the key here. That's the key for balancing off all the fear and the yelling and the sitting that we're made to do with no facial recognition of love and compassion. So we need more singing, more dancing, and more love, heart intention.
Yeah.
For balance.
Amazing. And we know, when I touched on about physics, so if you stay in the same frequency, we touched on, even if high and happy, you can't sustain that for a happy life. So you really do have to have that balance. You will have those people around you that challenge you. And we all, for each other, that's what we're here for.
It's good for us.
It is good for us. How exciting, I always say.
A good challenge.
Being open to it, having the mindset that those people that come into your life are coming into your life for a reason. So, a reason, season, or a lifetime, however it is, but a reason in terms of, if you're avoiding something, you might see something in somebody else. As soon as you see something in somebody else, it's going on in yourself.
Yeah.
It just is.
They're your messenger, and they're good for you. And saying, why can't everyone be nice? And like, if one person's, pressing all your buttons and stuff, there's a message there for you. He probably doesn't even know why he's doing it.
No.
It's for you.
That's
to learn
right.
something.
So as I was typing the notes last night, Charmaine, I was feeling a bit, I don't know what the right term is, kerfuddled. My mind is wandering and I feel a little crappy, really. So I was in that space where I was starting to have self-doubt. So I was starting to, think, the content, we're going to discuss today, how is that going to come across? And it's trying to keep it all in context and meaningful. So I was really second guessing myself. But I'm learning, as soon as I do that, I stop, walk away, take a break. And I did this throughout my book. And I guess that's why, you know, writing a book can take so long, because you're not going to be able to do that overnight if you want to write something meaningful.
Shouldn't be rushed. No, it's supposed to like play out as you're, you know, in sequence.
Yep, absolutely. And it is. And we're seeing that now through these series, is that we're seeing reference points now to our previous series. So it's kind of like we're doing the big loop, and it's very exciting.
Yeah. And then it all like connects together. You know, like series 2, this one throws back to series 3, and it's all connected. It's really fun.
It is really fun. So I allowed myself to sit in the emotion, or I go watch a series, you know, on Netflix, or one sort of out of a series. And then I thought to myself, you know what, mornings are better for me. So I sat with the emotion because I was beating myself up, see. And then I sat with that emotion. I thought, what are you doing? Like, you're allowed to just go and do something mindless over here. And, you know, it's good research anyway. I find when I'm watching the movies, I get some really good, it's like my, everything just comes through for me.
Yeah.
So I think because you kind of switch the head off, but from the heart. So
have a laugh, you know, like you can get on TikTok and just watch some mindless funnies.
Yeah, exactly.
After that, you're just like, oh, wow, I've got space now.
Yes. And that's what happened. And then this morning, and even we got together, because we get together generally a half an hour to an hour before, and then we just collectively, the two of us, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Such a good energy going. And it's like, I did a presentation yesterday around culture. So again, you know, that self-doubt when you're doing a presentation, and how much content should you include, and it's that whole, and I just, you know, I remember I just come from the heart. I'd had everything on my phone. I think I referenced my phone twice. And then I fumbled, you know, in my presentation. I was so busy, like, oh, have I said it right? Or you know, did I cover that off right? And I thought, phone away. Just, you remember this. You've got your reference points from your presentation, your PowerPoint. And you know what? About 5 people came up to me. Well, I got thanked at the end. Culture was one of my passions, of course, because, you know, it's about, again, how people act, how, you know, beliefs, and this is so much my area I love, and that human potential. And they came up and they just thanked me, and I connected with a lady who's another writer, and she's invited me to this festival, and it was just, it opened up. And I had, funnily enough, it was raining when we came out, and I thought, I'm not going to attempt the rain. I sat and had another coffee while I waited for the rain to ease, and all the people in the club there were all just looking around, smiling, a table full of ladies. I just felt all these angels, like smiles, like, you got this.
Yeah, because you were speaking from the heart, so you were reaching their heart frequency. Whereas if you're remembering notes, from remembering, you're speaking from the head, and you won't reach them. They won't remember it. Whereas if you're speaking from the heart, they'll feel you, and that's how you connect with the people you need to connect with, and actually speak to them with more than words.
Yes. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like anything, the more you do, you know, the better you get at it. But another area too, it's actually bringing our attention to new words and phrases to replace the old ones. So out with the old and in with the new that aren't serving us anyway. The ones that are serving you well, great. Because what I found, an example for me was, I would say something like, if, you know, that was going to happen. Instead, I catch myself when I go to say if, I go, when that happens. So I'm assuming it's already manifested and it's happened. That was a major shift in my psyche.
Yeah.
But it was really worth it. And I'm doing that more and more now. And actually I have to be careful, because I catch Jeff out and I go, oh, that's not my place to say. What are you trying to say? So I catch myself doing it, and then, you find it kind of just does resonate.
It's okay to cue him though, I guess. Like,
well, that's all I'm doing. I'm not saying don't say it that way, say it this way. I just go, oh, what if you thought, you know, said it, if you change that around to that. And
especially right now, if people are saying, oh, we're never going to get back to normal, and they're relying on all this stuff to happen to get back to normal, how about we just say the future's not written, you know, like, how exciting. Forget the old normal. Like, let's look forward to the new normal. Like,
I'm excited about the new normal, because things were obviously going to have to change, you know, around the environment, the earth, where we were going. So, you know, that was no secret. you know.
Lots of stuff had to fall away.
Yeah,
You know, we're
lots of
shining
stuff.
lots of light on the dark, and it's gonna be good.
Don't be afraid to have compassion and love and open yourself up to being vulnerable and
believe
the
believe
dance
in
of
this
life.
future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe in, dream in this loveful future, and it's gonna happen. It's happening. It's happening.
So I just want to quote series 2, and I'll direct you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'll have the 25th series after today, all 25 series. So 25 weeks worth of us talking about different aspects of life and how you can shift. And, you know, the series 2 was about the power of words. So there's another one that we've now referenced in this very series today.
Yeah, one's connected to the other.
Yeah, one, exactly. That's right. Nothing separate, nothing separated. You got anything else you want to add, Miss Charmaine?
No, I think we're good with this. The power of love. You know, like choosing love over fear. Right now, what we're doing is we're all of us collectively, we're trying to balance this world with, you know, equal love and light, and that's our whole method here.
And you can have a business head as long as you balance your business head with your heart. And people say, oh, well, if I bring that in, you know, it's going to make me too vulnerable. I'm not going to be able to get that deal, or nobody's going to listen to me, or they're going to think, you know, I've been living proof of it because I was determined to come from the heart. And with HR, I can spread the message. If you want to refer to it in a professional way, you can still come from the heart.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's not meaning you're weak. It's actually making it real. You're human. It's the humanness, and that's what it's about. And it
goes such a further way, a much more long way if you're coming from the heart. That's why you're so good at what you do, because, you know, you're reaching people's heart and healing their stuff from the heart. You'll get so much more done than if you were just using your head. That's why you're so good.
It's a simple method, isn't it? Life is simple until we make it complicated.
Yeah, that is so true.
So on that note, if you do want to check out the other series, and series 25 will be up this afternoon, Karen Howe YouTube. You'll catch it all there.
Yeah.
Until next week. I really enjoyed that, Charmaine.
That was really good. If you want to connect with us at all, you know, on our Facebooks or websites, you can find all our stuff there about any of this stuff, or survival tips for the future, whatever you're drawn to. We're here.
Have a toolbox.
We're here for service.
We are here to serve, yes. To you all, and have the most amazing, free-flowing, abundantly awesome day, rest of your week, until we see you again, and catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
See ya.